Alright, I found a poem that is a bit shorter than my last ones. And this one is actually my favorite that I've done so far. And I wrote it back when I was still a young buck. I was like 21. But it's still relevant. This is still like a great expression of what's going on with me now. It's just about my fear of losing my mind, pretty much. Where do I come from? I fell from the sky and crashed into the friendly forests of the valley hidden in the leaves, a land where even the stars are strange. What is my age? My heart has been pumping blood through the rest of my body for 21 wild years, but my soul was born long ago, beyond the reckoning of any measurement of time known to man, when this world was still young. Who am I? There are two lives that we live simultaneously. The natural one, that our five senses can easily grasp. Then there's the one in our mind. Vast, terrifying. All of the information you've ever gained, everything you've ever contemplated, hoped for, feared, loved, hated, won, or lost, all of these things exist in this space created in our thoughts, never forgotten, only filed away until it is again relevant. This can be a frightening and powerful place because it is so easy to become lost in there. The entire duration of my deep thought, my body is on autopilot. I use minimal amount of my mind to communicate with people who seem to be so entitled to interrupt my delicate process of comprehension. Using the rest of my mind to think about what I want to, what I need to, what is more important. Not really being there. Inside, I'm checked out of this natural life where I work, party, love, and relate to you humans. And I'm checked into my thought life. I rule everything here. If one wishes to obtain something of equal or greater value must first be sacrificed. That is alchemy's first law of equivalent exchange. A truth that I know and trust implicitly. The price I've paid for spending so much time sailing the shoreless seas of my mind is that I now have absolutely no control of when I slip into the world of my thought life. It gently takes a hold of me and leads me away into the gloomy place that I love. I have no idea how long I'll be there, but when I snap out of it, I look around at where I am, what I'm doing, completely confused. Walking out of the dreamland and into this world with you humans. These two worlds were meant to exist in harmony. The conception of our thought and feeling happens in our thought life, brought into the natural life by our words and actions. Then, experiences we gain become matter for our minds to deconstruct and reconstruct into something that we can understand. Feeding the machine that burns in your head, keeping it sharp and ever expanding. This is a perfectly balanced dance between the two lives. Fluid, graceful. This balance is disturbed when people become afraid of their thoughts. They develop a habit of suppressing their thought life by constantly stimulating their five senses with anything that they can. They fear the darkness that exists inside of everyone, the unpleasant, indecent, hideous things. They regret truth, the matters they cannot solve. If the matter is so difficult to deconstruct, it will always be a puzzle we toil with, obsess over, be consumed by. Why our fathers were the way they were. Now, how do we become good enough to be accepted? What is to be done with the sorrow in our hearts? Those thoughts are energy that undoubtedly exist, and as you cower from that realm, they roam freely across the space of your starved thought life. Why is this place so feared? This is where the seas roil beneath the boat. The sun is gone, and the storm clouds block every glimmer of light that the moon would lend. So what do normal humans do? Abandon ship and swim ashore where they can rest in the glow of the full moon. But if you have the madness within you that makes you loosen your grip on the helm and tighten the grin on your face, this storm can be weathered. You think you can win. Though there's only one way to know for certain. I am one who would dare the thunder to sink my ship, taunt the abyss to swallow my body, and not promise my mother that I shall return from the edge, because I simply don't know if I will. Each time I cross over, less and less of me returns to this world. I walk a tightrope. To my left is a walking corpse with track marks on his arm and a liquor-stained liver. To my right is an insane asylum, where the doctors feed me pills that make me piss and shit on myself, but they quiet the madness too. So, here I balance, all that I dream of waiting for me if only I can keep my feet underneath me. But when fear enslaves the masses, they do not realize what they are sacrificing in exchange to live in blissful ignorance. The beautiful, magical, glorious things, their dreams, their confidence, their hope. They fear this place so much that they may go so far as to bombard their mind with the task of memorizing increasingly tedious, frivolous things like sports stats, gossip, or rules. When this happens, things like reflecting on mistakes of the past and carefully strategizing for the future ceases to exist. And then the person becomes an unsightly, stunted entity that's not quite dead, not quite living. It's such a damned waste of air. Burdens, parasites, cowards. This is not an opinion of a lonely boy with a nasty attitude such as I am. This is the stone-cold logic that has dogged my long shadow since I became strong enough to stand on my own 2 feet. This balance is also disturbed when people abuse their words by using them as weapons to deceive and bite. I was very young when I became aware of the difference between people who behaved authentically and those who desperately imitated what they thought charisma was. I found my natural life boring, because it seemed to have an endless supply of these pretenders that are worthless to me. Few and far between do I encounter those whom I feel a sense of kinship. So I look to mavericks of the past, my dead peers. I study their lives and learn their stories front to back, up and down, sideways. I begin to wonder about them, and just like that I am lost in my thought life. This makes me imagine the telling of my own story. How long, and in what way, will I be remembered after I am gone? What will they say for the mirage of the valley hidden in the leaves? Let them say that I was brave to be among the few that stood against many. Let them say that I was gentle to kiss my betrayer. Let them say that I loved. What keeps me somewhat anchored in this natural life is the fact that it is a chaotic game that everyone has no choice but to sign up for. I can control precious little here. Food, sex, and love are undeniably wonderful things to behold in this life. But playing games is my favorite thing about being alive. For some reason, I was blessed with exceptional abilities to play this game. My skills were forged in the hellfires and tested by blinding blizzards. The older I grew, the more difficult it became to encounter opponents that were any fun to play with. I've lived a very lonely life. My heart greatly desires to find an equal, a rival, as fiercely as it desires to find a woman that can love me. If I were to obey alchemist's law, obtaining one desire by sacrificing another of equal value, then I would say to my future, the mother of my children, my wife, my queen, my love, turn to dust. She will blow away with the cool breeze, disappearing forever. This decision is made in the space of my thought life, and I rule everything here, remember? I will not exist idly content with the illusions of comfort and peace. I will not value happiness over the thrill of life. I will have my way with this natural world, and all of its people. I am the one who will come like a cool breeze over my home to carry away the grey winds of morning that have long lingered in the skies of my people. I am not afraid of living. Saying it is one thing, pulling it off is another more dangerous game entirely. In my isolation, I've found that I don't much care to deal with people anymore. So my eyes are closed to the light, only open to play the games of deception, walking the tightrope again, crossing back over the black river to the ether, returning with less of me. So while I am still me, I write this as a letter to any who might love or pity me. Keep these words hidden away somewhere, safe and secret, until they are needed, and I feel they certainly will be. Because as much as I believe in my ability to sail the furious sea, and though my feet have never failed me before, if one of the storms I am set to face in the future proves to have a stronger will than my own, if I slip from that rope before I can reach my dreams, if the day comes when you have to scrape me up off the rocks and set my bones back in place, you'll know what to say when I ask you, where do I come from? What is my age? Who am I?